Hi, everyone. I am Linda Welbrock, the CEO and founder of Leading Women Entrepreneurs and the New Jersey Force for Change Awards during COVID. And we have a very special family with us today who are the honorees for the family business and construction. And they run the Almasi family of businesses. I can't wait to showcase their story of success with you and all that they've been doing to make the state a better place. So we're going to start with Bill Almasi. And if Bill, you could tell us what Almasi family of businesses are, how it was founded, and a little bit about the history and the services that you provide.
Well, my grandfather started a business back in 1926, and he came over from Hungary, and he was a laborer, then a labor foreman, and then he drove a bus, and then he borrowed money, and he bought his own bus, and then back in 1929, during the Depression, the public service came in and bought him out for $30,000, which launched the trucking company, and actually we had a garbage business to pick up in Woodbridge there. And from there with the trucks, we had the clay business where all the clay bricks were being made back then, where Woodbridge Center was our property that he bought with the investment that he had. And then all the industry in the area like Perth Amboy and Woodbridge, the refineries and steel mills were all being built. And that launched us into the construction part of it there.
It's such an incredible history and story. And I'd love to ask you, did you have any mentors? I mean, I know that this company has started over 90 years ago. And I'd love for you to talk to us about your mentors that have helped you contribute to the success of the overall company.
Well, everybody took a lot of pride in their work. And it's just that everybody gave it 100% back then, and everybody just kept working. And let me see the best way to explain it there. Just taking pride. Let me move on here. You got me stunned right now.
Well, you know what? It's hard to summarize 90 years in a 5-minute interview, but obviously the reflection of everybody on this interview right now is a reflection of your hard work and dedication. And we're going to start with Anne Marie and shift over because she is a very special woman, literally at your side. And she's the owner of Almasi Companies, which I know is a certified WBE, and she's certified with WBENC and the New York, New Jersey Port Authority. So she is qualified on so many different levels. But talk to us, Anne Marie, because the construction world is such a non-traditional world for women to be a part of. So I'd love for you to share your advice on what women or men, quite frankly, should know if they are interested in entering this world.
Well, the construction world itself is an anomaly for women. However, working in any field is exactly the same for everyone. And what I've discovered that is the most beneficial to women, especially women, is to be coachable. Men get it naturally, and women get it a little more naturally because they're more involved in sports. But the important thing is to be coachable, and there's no defense. There's no defense. Listen to what your coach is saying. Don't make excuses, and just revisit the problem and move on, and listen to what your mentors. Find yourself a mentor. Of course, Bill had millions of mentors, starting with his grandfather and his father and his uncle and his coaches. And we all had mentors in our life. I came up with an anachronism because I've been asked this question several times. What got me here, or what things are really beneficial to me? And I came up with LINKS, LINKS. First of all, as a businesswoman, the most important thing is to fill in your missing links. Don't hire don't hire to your strengths, you hire to your weaknesses. So find everyone in this phone call does something better than me. That's why they're here. They all have their own niche, and that's the success of the Almasi family of businesses.
Isn't
But
that
I came up with links. Link L stands for look, listen, and learn. You never can get enough education, and it doesn't have to be formal. Read all the time. This is a changing world. It changes moment to moment, especially technology. The Industrial Revolution had nothing on us. This is, computers changed minute to minute. Before this interview, we were on one medium and then we ended up on another. You have to be very adaptable. So look, listen, and learn all the time. The I stands for investigate. Always investigate. Always find out what your client wants. Always be one step ahead of them. The N stands for, this is a very, very intricate tool. You need to learn how to negotiate. You need to learn to come to terms. All of us here, we learned on the seat of our pants because we've been in this business so long that the evolution, we learn through evolution. K, this is my heart. Kindness, always be kind. No act of kindness is ever wasted, Aesop says. So be kind. And there's an old expression, the people you see going up, you're going to see when they're coming down. So be kind to everyone and follow that rule. And the S is for smile. Just smile. And there's another expression that I like, fake it till you make it. So when you're most troubled and you're most unsure of yourself, smile, take it in, breathe, and relax.
I absolutely love it. I think I'm going to get a sign that says links and look at it every day. I need a mantra to remind me of the pillars of good advice. Thank you so much, Anne Marie. So I'm going to switch over to Laura, who is the Vice President of Operations. And I think it's really interesting because Almasi is noted for their safety and compliance. And I know you have been spearheading that. But with the onset of the pandemic, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about how you went above and beyond to make sure your employees were safe and everyone else around you, your customers and employees, really were your most important goal in keeping safe. Laura?
Thank you. Well, first thing we had to do was we had to develop a sanitation and disinfectant protocol. And we also met with each one of our clients because each job is a little different, and to satisfy their needs and our needs to keep everyone safe. We handed out masks and gloves and provided hand wash stations. And more importantly, we made sure our employees and our clients felt comfortable with what we were doing and felt needed, because they are essential. They're essential in their family, they're essential in our life. And so that was a big thing. And we didn't deny any employee that wanted to self-quarantine if that was their right. And now everyone is back at work and we are moving forward. So also we were working at a hospital, and we as a crew outside, we requested special HEPA filters to be installed on their ventilation to outside, so it didn't contaminate any of our working crew outside this building.
I mean, it's so fascinating to think of how, not only are you entrepreneurial to begin with, but then starting from a blank canvas and implementing all of these different things overnight and making sure people were safe. I'm going to ask you one more question because I think it's interesting that you, as a woman, entered the construction world right in the middle of the 80s, which was also an interesting time for everyone. Tell me a little bit about that experience and what advice you would give to women, like I asked Anne Marie, who were coming into the construction world.
Well, in the 80s, it was predominantly a male-dominated field. It's more of a mixed environment now. I see women have made great strides. We still have a long way to go, but there are more than just me in the field now, and that really makes me happy. What I would say to a young engineer, first is always do your homework. Be true to your unique self. You're not one of the guys. So it gives women a chance to create their own path. And also, as my sister stated earlier, find a mentor. I had so many mentors, and they came out of the oddest places, clients, colleagues, mentors you'll never know. Be kind and be persistent. Don't back down. Persistence is usually you will win. And listen to what others are really saying. You may be surprised who tells you something important.
I always am.
Yeah.
And where
Yeah.
my most important messages come from.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Laura. Let's talk to Kenny, who is the Vice President of Trucking Operations. He is the cousin to Bill Almasi, who we talked to earlier. He is the grandson of the founder, John Almasi. And you have a lot of experience, over 50 years of experience in this world as the Vice President of Trucking and Operations. So tell us a little bit about the services that you provide and your experience and how this very unprecedented time in history was different for you.
All right. First of all, one of our major responsibilities is to make sure our construction, we haul materials for our construction company and move all our equipment. After that, we have our own vendors that we have to take care of. We haul sand, stone, and other materials to them to keep them, mostly the utility companies and refineries. They always need something, so we're always busy with them. And then the last thing we do is we haul a lot of clean material into environmental jobs. After they take all the dirty dirt out, we bring all the clean stone in, or clean materials. All right, some of the changes we made over the years, believe it or not, we added air conditioning and filters into the trucks. Because when I first started, there was no such thing as air conditioning and filters. And most of the equipment didn't have cabs, airtight cabs. It was all open equipment. So that's part of the things to do. And now with the social, with this COVID stuff, we supply all our drivers with proper PPE equipment, and we try to institute social distancing measures between the drivers, co-workers, and customers. And if possible, we promote contactless deliveries, where we don't make them sign for tickets no more because we don't want to contaminate pens, papers, or anything else. We just hand them the ticket and we're off on our way.
Very smart. The less exposure, the better. I want, and by the way, I couldn't imagine that no AC. I remember those days myself, and thank God AC, and the days have become extremely hot. So do you have a memory of your grandfather that you'd like to share?
My grandfather was always a go-getter. All right. He never sat back on his laurels. He always tried something different. Like Bill mentioned earlier, he started with the buses, then he went to the garbage company, then he bought sand pits, and then as he was doing the sand pits, he started the construction company. So he taught me never sit back on your laurels and always look for something new, a different angle, to get one step up on your competitors.
It's so beautiful to hear you talk about how strong your grandfather was and how he instilled such great values in you and everybody here on this call, and that you are all a legacy for him and for the future. So let's move to Maura Almasi, who is the controller and daughter to Bill and Anne Marie. And I'd love to just ask you, why did you get involved in the construction world?
That's a good question. I grew up in it since a little child. I mean, I used to hang out in the clay pits. I used to go to the office. I was surrounded by it. So it's what I knew best. So why wouldn't I go into the construction industry?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's in your environment and you grow up in it. It must come natural to you, but I think a lot of women are super impressed with so many women being in this world together with great men. Talk to me a little bit about the challenges of working with a family. I mean, I actually used to work at the Rothman Institute of Entrepreneurial Studies, and when we did a lot of forums around family businesses, and I'm sure you're aware that the stats are against you. So I'm just so impressed to see that there's so many generations that have continued this and succeeded. But what are some of the best parts and the challenges that you can tell me?
Okay, well, I would say the biggest challenge is learning when to turn off work and just be with your family, no work related, at the dinner table. I would say that's the biggest challenge. But the benefit is I get to be around my family, and they're supportive, and they're my mentors, and we all have one thing in common, and we want the business to succeed. So I think that's a great thing.
I think so too. I absolutely love it. I would imagine, I hope that more families are like your family, because it sounds like you have like the absolutely gold star version of what a family should be, which I can't say is the case for everyone, unfortunately. So let's move to the other Bill Almasi, the young Bill Almasi. He is the field supervisor and son to Anne Marie and Bill. And I'd love to just start with the basics. What role do you play in the family business?
Mainly out in the field, day to day. Like we're, I'm on site, and every day sometimes I'm in the excavator, just actually digging, and we'll either be doing pipe, or various types of excavation. I do scout jobs out, when they become real. Laura's like, go look at this, and I'll give her what I think manpower wise and duration it's going to take to get the job done. There's no limits to what I have to do.
Right.
Whatever needs to be done that day.
I feel like entrepreneurs know that lesson well. It's less about titles and more about whatever comes in front of you, and you got to just get it done. But I know that your family has built so many incredible projects around the state. So tell me a little about one of your favorite projects.
Well, there's so many. There's most of them are a challenge, and then the challenge becomes what you found interesting about that job. One of the things that comes to mind is we did the Meadowlands Stadium, and the utilities there, but they were deep utilities, and we were essentially digging through a garbage dump. So with every bucket that I was digging in the ground, I never knew what was going to be in my bucket next. There would be car parts, there would be fabric, it was a lot of old bottles. So it was pretty interesting doing that type of work in that environment, and just adapting to it and getting it done.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, that the Meadowlands is sort of one of those heartbeats of the state of New Jersey. So, we applaud you on helping us have that. And there's a long list. We have to do a phase 2 interview on other things that I know your family is responsible for. So I'm going to switch to a little bit of a lighter note and just ask all of you if there's one hobby that you picked up during the pandemic, or if there's one hobby that you just couldn't live without during the pandemic that helped get you through. And we can go back to Bill and Anne Marie. Something that helped you get through this.
What was my hobby? Well, my hobby is work, is what it was normally, But I always enjoyed. We work with the equipment hard out in the field, and the part that I enjoy is always bringing it into the shop, and with our mechanics and our ability to rebuild everything, so that when we went out to the job site, the machine was in top shape at that point, and that we wouldn't have any breakdowns. That we go through all the hydraulics, eliminate the leaks, exchange hoses and do the undercarriages. And that's one ability that helps us a lot, that we, you know, if there's ever a breakdown on the job site too, that we were able to repair it itself, that we weren't depending upon a subcontractor or the dealerships to say, well, we'll get to you in a couple days, we're backed up, that we're able to get things up and going. But we didn't have a backup machine out on the job. And schedules were the important part of it there.
That sounds like a hobby. That sounds like a hobby that would take a lot of time. I can imagine that you wouldn't be able to fit too many more.
Well, I have my empty cars too that I enjoy. So.
Well, okay, we have run out of time, and I am so excited to celebrate this incredible, beautiful, bold family at the 2020 Force for Change Awards on November 2nd. You really are an exemplary role model for other family businesses and for the construction world and for the state of New Jersey. And we can't thank you enough for your time and just for being such an amazing example.
I want to say one thing.
Sure.
Okay. The entire Almasi family thanks you, Linda, for this award for the leading women entrepreneurs as a family business. We're very, very grateful, and we also honor our other awardees.
Oh, thank you so much, Emily. Bye, everyone. You're amazing.